Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ballhawk here, bringing the IPA Moltres Division's PRs post-draft. I am joined by Astrius, Dede, and Wobbuffet. You guys want to say hello?
Hi,
Hello.
it's me, Astrius.
What's up, Moltres?
So, today we are just going to take a look at the teams that were drafted. We are a little late on getting these out to you guys. I think week 1 is already in the books. Some week 2 games are getting planned out right now. But we're looking at the team strictly after the draft. We're not taking any transactions that might have happened up to this point into effect. And these are just, our thoughts on our subjective thoughts on the teams that were drafted. It has nothing to do with skill level or anything to do with that. So let's hop right into it. Coming in at number 12, we've got Wobbuffet himself.
Hell yeah.
We believe in you. I think you're gonna do good with this team, though. I think it kind of represents what you're good with. Spoiler alert: Gorgeist is number 1 on the kill board, so
I don't want to hear it.
I agree. My team is kind of awful outside of the FDS score. Or not the Firewater Grass score, and Ditto's great.
It is. Anyway, if you're forced to listen to this and you can't see the screen, his team is Tyranitar, Slowbro, Cobalion, Crobat, Gourgeist, Togedemaru, Mega Garchomp, Hatterene, Swallow, Ditto, and Incineroar. I did not expect Gourgeist to be that good. I think it's a lot of fun to play with, especially when you get something that I didn't know before this season was that when you drafted, you get the option to use all 4 of the sizes. So you could go a super or small and just kind of play around with the HP and speed and attack stats that way.
And really cool. That bungled me on the calc, because when I was calcing stuff against Gourgeist the other day, I failed to realize that it wasn't calcing for Gourgeist super. So I thought they were different IVs than what they were, EVs than what they were. Anyways, the funny thing about this team is that everyone else ranked it 12th or 11th, and then I ranked it 7th because I have PTSD. I was prepping against it, and I thought, okay, I've prepped against all the major threats. I can KO all the major threats, and then Gourgeist comes, and I can't KO that. If they over prep for Gourgeist, maybe they can't kill Slowbro defensively, or maybe they can't kill Hatterene special defensively, or Tyranitar and Sand. It's still a good team, even though it is ranked 12th.
Yeah,
Definitely.
No, one thing I noticed though, which is why I ranked it so low, is just because it's got a lot of type redundancy. So you have 2 steel types, 2 psychic types, 2 flying types, and 2 dark types, and that's something that I just personally wouldn't want to have on a draft. I like to diversify my types and not have too much of anything. So that's the only thing, really.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And then outside of that, I don't know. I think my main issue with it was that it seemed a little passive. Outside of maybe Mega Garchomp or Hatterene under Trick Room.
Another thing I look at is just hazard removal, because I think every team needs to have good hazard removal. And he does have Swallow and Crobat, and Magic Bounce Hatterene, I guess. But I don't know. Any team that doesn't have Rapid Spin, I just kind of don't like in general, and that's just my bias. But
my team's just kind of ass.
I wish he would have had one more solid defogger. I think that's something that I don't like about it. Crobat is it's got a good defense typing and steel flying, but Gourgeist doesn't get rapid spin, does it?
Poison flying, because Crobat is not a steel type.
Damn. Yeah, I wish you had something other than just Swallow and Crobat to get rid of hazards. You do have Hatterene with Magic Bounce. She's pretty thick, but
that's prediction based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that said, I really like the Tyranitar Mega Garchomp combo. That's something that I wanted to try coming into this season. With Garchomp getting access to Scale Shot, I think that makes it so much more viable and just a very scary threat. And you pair that with a sand setter, I think it could just absolutely blow teams away.
Well, we'll see how I'll do with it.
Coming in at 11, we've got Dede. I mean, you're most likely gonna run Skull, but you can even go more passive. Just whack a Lola, Registeel, Miltank, Manectric, Mega Sharpedo, Tapu Fini, Claydol, Passimian, and Amoonguss.
So this team's offense, right? It syncs well with the defense, but then most of the defense, except Tapu Fini, is all weak to the same kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the knocks that I had on it too. And aside from the main damage dealers like Marowak and Kyurem, Nihilego, Mega Sharpedo, Tapu Fini, and to an extent Passimian and Manectric, they're all kind of, the rest of the team's kind of passive, and the ones that are good at dealing damage, they all seem kind of like what you said, Wob. They're all just they share a lot of overlapping weaknesses, like Tapu Fini and Mega Sharpedo, or
Nihilego,
Mega Sharpedo.
Marowak, Registeel, Manectric all being weak to ground.
Yeah, that was something I regretted after the draft. Is I don't really have much for Earthquake.
I also think
I've
this
never
draft
really
would.
played all that much, so.
I also think this draft would benefit from webs, because
Definitely.
I mean, obviously Mega Sharpedo's fast as hell when it gets speed boost, but like, I think Marowak Alola is obviously great under webs. I think Pyram could benefit from webs because it's good speed, but not like insane speed. I don't know. I think webs would be pretty good. Webs would also force you wouldn't have to do the cheese with Mega Sharpedo.
That's what I was gonna say. It would add a lot more like, just unpredictability with the team. I think it would allow Mega Sharpedo not to have to stick with 3 attacks, but it could add a 4th attack.
Yeah.
Then, and it would free you up to maybe run more of a defensive barrier and Kyurem or something like that, or just make it bulkier, knowing that it's gonna outspeed threats with speed or with webs.
Something to watch out for, I think, is that half of these Pokemon can run Scarf. And unless you guessed right in prep, that could throw you off in game.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't really sold on the Koran pick, even like first round. Like I know it's good and everything, but I got sniped like right before, and this isn't an excuse or anything, but I did get sniped like right before someone picked Dragapult, and that kind of threw my whole thing off. And then I just kind of picked. But I mean, other than that, I didn't get sniped because Hitmonlee was the only other snipe on the team, so I'm not complaining about snipes at all. It's just I remember using Finny and Amoonguss once in a different league, so I don't know. Hopefully I can repeat that success.
Yeah, Finny Amoonguss is a pretty damn good core if you play it right.
I didn't see it until now. You're not gonna be able to just like rattle off a bunch of spores with Amoonguss. Although I mean, only one opponent can be sleep at one time, but kind of sucks with the Misty terrain.
Oh yeah, because I can't spore things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even know that default gets rid of terrain, but it does. So I mean, not that it is kind of a double-edged sword because I don't want Finny getting toxic or anything on my team for that matter. But but like the thing is for me is I don't think that I'll be switching in from Finny to Amoonguss in a lot of situations. I'll be switching in from like offensive Pokemon into Amoonguss to pivot, but I just feel like
What if you used like Telekinesis Claydol and then switch into Amoonguss to score? I think that would be funny.
Coming in at 10, we have Black Koran, coach of the Weekly L's. He is coaching Tornadus Therian, Gengar, Vaporeon, Bronzong, Piloswine, Kecleon, Mega Diancie, Volcarona, Rotom-Mow, Scrafty, and Drampa.
Looking at this team right off the bat, I see a lot of strong mons individually, but I don't quite see how they fit together.
Yeah, this was a very polarizing team. From those of us that ranked this, it's Dede and I ranking him pretty high. Astrius and Chris Gale both putting him at 11. I think it's a matter of preference, I guess, or what you're familiar with. I guess things that you like in your own team is maybe one thing that I would attribute that to. I think Mega Diancie and Volcarona along with Tornadus Therian and Gengar, it's a very those 3 or 4 on their own right are very strong offensively. They're pretty heavily on the special side. However,
Yeah, that was my problem with it. That was why I ranked it so low. And I know Chris isn't here to defend himself, so I'll hop in. It was ranked so low for me because you don't have any physical attackers, like dedicated physical attackers in the high tiers. You can run physical Tornadus and you can run physical Diancie, but you're almost forced to because you have Gengar, Volcarona, Vaporeon, Rotom-Mow. They're all filling special slots. Unless you're bringing Scrafty or Piloswine or like a Kecleon, and you are forced to run those 2 as physical, and it's just, I don't know, it puts a weird pinch in prep, and I don't like that.
Yeah, that is a good point. And does Tornadus get defog? I'm pretty sure it does.
He does.
And default.
Yeah, so defog, and then you got Magic Bounce Diancie. But other than that, I mean, he might as well just run heavy duty boots on Volcarona every week, and maybe even Tornadus. Well, no, because it does get Regenerator, but still, I mean,
I think he's forced to, regardless.
yeah, it's very limiting though, because every time you run boots, I mean, that's just one item that you can't run. Like the only purpose is just that you don't take damage from rocks.
Yeah, I mean, Rotom-Mow is another solid defogger.
Oh, I did forget. Okay, yeah, that gets defog.
So I could see him, like, depending on the matchup, if his opponent doesn't have a very solid rock setter, or if it's got a weak matchup against Rotom or Tornadus or something else, I could see him foregoing the heavy duty boots. But I mean, Mega Diancie has a super high physical attacks, and I think Diamond Storm is a physical move, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is.
it has Diamond Storm and Play Rough.
also
it
got-
Play Rough.
It also has Iron Defense and got access to Body Press in the leagues as well. Mega Deancy can hold her own physically. I think that's.
I just don't
one-
like if your only real physical attacker can't hold an item, other than Deancite. It's just rough. I don't know. I don't like it.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment, I
The
think.
vibe I'm getting from this team is that all the mons are very strong, but they all seem kind of streamlined. So if you're playing this team in the later weeks, you should go watch some of the replays because they're probably going to be reusing most of those sets.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, a little more versatility would have been good for this team, I think.
I do like Vaporeon though. I've used Vaporeon and it's been really good for me. So I think if he uses the Wish Pass could be really nice for like offensive mons, like the
Definitely.
Volcarona, the DNC, the Gengar.
And the
I mean,
fact that it
even-
has Flip Turn now too, so it's even got like, it doesn't have to run Scald to do damage, but I mean, you're most likely gonna run Scald, but you can even go more passive, just teammate helping Wish Passer with Flip Turn. It might require a lot of just maneuvering around in battle, but it's definitely got a lot of good threats. It's got a lot of good things going on with it. Very polarizing. But we'll move on. Coming in at number 9, we've got the Eternal Ice Cube, coached by Detective Butters. They have Clefable, Nidoqueen, Slowking, Snorlax, Lycanroc, Luxray, Mega Scizor, Infernape, Haxorus, Persian Alola, and Drifblim. I think this team has a very solid Dragon Fire Steel Core, Dragon Fairy Steel Core in Scizor, Clefable, and Haxorus.
Yeah, I actually called it the second best in the league. In my
I think
opinion.
that's a fair assessment. I would agree with that.
Infernape and Slowking are also great additions with that kind of regenerator teleport.
Yeah.
It's just special Slowbro. It's so good.
The one thing that kind of stands out to me, as far as like negative wise when I look at this team, is I wish he would have finished his Fire, Water, Grass core. And he's got 2 solid, legs to that in Infernape and Slowking. I think that's the one thing that's holding this back. I wish maybe, instead of Drifblim or Persian, he would have gotten Lapras or something, or not Lapras, some type of solid tier 4 or 5 grass type. Other than that, I think he's got a lot of good. He's got a lot one thing that we were talking about in the last team there. It's kind of like all the mons are good on their own and they're kind of one dimensional, but together it's kind of predictable, I guess, or they don't work that well together. Maybe is one of the things we were kind of underlying. This team, I think it's like the exact opposite. Like Clefable has so many sets. Mega Scizor is just what it's gonna do, but it has a few options and it's just so good at what it does. The few things that it does. Infernape, you don't know if it's gonna be special or physical. Haxorus
You could
is
run
just
Trick Room with Snorlax and Clefable and Slowking.
exactly. Or Trick Room teleports Slowking into a Snorlax.
Yeah, for this team, I wrote Versatility King.
Yeah.
I think one of the bottom tier grasses that I think they would benefit from is Tangela.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, get get a second regenerator on the team. That
Yeah,
would have been huge.
I think Tangela over like something like Luxray or
that and
Was Luxray tier 5?
Tangela would have been, I
Tangle was
believe.
tier 4, I believe.
right. Yeah, Tangela is tier 4, so it would have had
Oh,
to
really?
go over Persian.
Which
Or
I think
the
that would have been
Lycanroc.
fine. That would have been fine, actually. I think that's a much better, spot for that than Persian Alola, because he's already got that speed tier in Lycanroc. I don't think Persian Alola is giving him that much more.
That's not to say Persian Alola is a bad mon, because I mean it is pretty good. It's it has like Technician and Fur Coat, right?
Yep.
Anyways, yeah, no, I think this team is very versatile, and I would be pretty hard to prep for, because you don't know what Clefable's going to do, you don't know what Infernape's going to do, all that kind of stuff.
Right. I feel like you kind of have to go with make a hard decision and prep for one thing on all these different individual mons, where it's like you could be totally out in left field compared to what they're actually going to bring and just lose because of that. I think we'll move on. Coming in at number 8, we've got Wilmington Weavile, coached by Pokedex holder Orange. He's got Zero Aura,
It
Crocodile.
was amazing.
He's got Zero Aura, Crocodile, Weezing Galar, Porygon Z, Drotagon, Togetic, Mega Blastoise, Corviknight, Tangrowth, Delphox, and Frostlass.
Yeah, I think I ranked this team just so low because I didn't really know what to think of it. Like all the other teams, I had something to say, and the only thing I think is just because I just don't understand what Togetic does for the team. He's already got a flying and a fairy type. they both defog. I don't really understand what Togetic
Wish
does.
Pass.
I think he could have picked something else up. So yeah, Wish Pass, but I mean, what's his HP stat? I don't even know.
I'm not sure. It's bulky. It
I guess
also
I'll
has things
look
like
it
Thunder
up
Wave
on
and
here.
Yawn as well.
I had the same thing. I put in my notes. I said I don't know what to make of this team. It's got
Yeah,
good
it's
defense and
HP
good
stat is-
offense, but nothing like stands out. I guess.
Its base HP stat is just 55, so its wishes aren't that strong, and because of that, I mean, it can roost, it can T-wave, like I get all that, but I don't know. It's just
But
it
here's
seems
the
a little
thing.
bit redundant for me.
What's wrong with this team though? It's got the good offense, the good defense. It has good hazard removal in Wheezing Galar and Corviknight. And Togetic, I'm pretty sure. It's got spin blocking with Frost Blast. It's got good speed tiers with Zeraora, Delphox, Frost Blast, and Crocodile. It's got Intimidate. It's got Neutralizing Gas. It just has so many good things and versatility as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know. I think I ranked it 12 because I didn't really know what to think about it, and I had something for every other team. And this one, I'm just like, okay, it's here, and it's a good team, but like I didn't know where to put it in relation to the other ones, so I just kind of put it in last.
I think this one kind of falls to the fact that it's just, I think I put them halfway through because I just think the top half on these rankings are all pretty close. I think there's a few things that were kind of splitting it the way that I ranked or I went through these rankings. I think this team, I think it's definitely very versatile. Not quite as versatile as the last team, but I mean, it's got really good speed tiers, having Zero Hora and things like Wheezing Galar, Drotagon. He's pretty versatile. He's got a couple defoggers, spin blockers. I think Tangrowth is a good addition for things like Zero Hora and Crocodile. Drotagon is an underrated dragon. I think a tier 4 it gives him a lot of value. Being able to glare things for maybe Crocodile or especially Mega Blastoise. I think that's going to be dangerous. It's going to be an annoying stealth rock setter. And then having arguably
I don't
the
really
best
like it.
defogger in the game in Corviknight. That never hurts your team.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I don't really like his cores because like each of them is kind of relying on a tier 4, right? Like Delphox. I mean, Delphox is good, but it's not like a strong fire type. And then the dragon here is Druddigan, which is not really the terrifying dragon that forces them to run a fairy. Wheezing Galar is like an okay fairy type, but it has, a few extra weaknesses, and he can't run. If you don't run Levitate, you gain an extra weakness. I don't know. It's just it's an okay team. It's got everything. I just don't think it's a good team, but it's not a great team in my opinion.
I think it's unorthodox. I think that's one of the things I noticed that like it makes it hard for me to kind of distinguish which way to put it, just because it's got things that they're not bad, like Frostlass and Delphox and Porygon Z or Drotagon. I mean, they're things that like I don't typically see on a draft team, where I don't look at them and be like, oh, I'm really scared of those things. But I mean, I think in a draft format they're pretty good. Drotagon and Porygon Z both have a 120 attack stat, physical or special. I mean, Drotagon being physical and Porygon Z being special, obviously. But I think this team could easily, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he brings this team like number 1 or number 2 at the end of the season before playoffs start. I think it's very, very capable. Next up, we got number 7. We have the Kansas City Chicoritas, coached by T-Man, a returning coach from Red Division last season. He's got Garchomp, Rotom Wash, Porygon 2, Orbeetle, Gallade, Clefairy, Mega Mawile, Arcanine, Hydreigon, Golbat, and Trevenant.
Pretty good team.
Immediately, I see Mega Mawile and Webs.
Oh yeah. The thing I was kind of confused because I played this team week 1 was like Garchomp and Hydreigon. I don't exactly see the point of that. I feel like he's either gonna run one or the other every week.
I wish he would have taken something other than Hydreigon, probably. No, I think Hydreigon is a good pair for Mega Mawile. I wish he would have taken something other than Garchomp.
I think this team's really good. You have my number written down wrong for this one. I ranked this team 4th. I guess Chris ranked this 10th.
Yeah,
But
must have.
I actually think this is a super good team. It's a solid, bulky offense team. I think it covers its own weaknesses very well. I don't like Clefairy, but that's because I used it last season and it just did nothing. I don't know. Everything else on the team, it's like Garchomp and Mega Mawile already cover each other's weaknesses super well, right? But then like add Rotom Wash in there, and that covers like I don't know. It's just I think it's so good. And then Arcanine to lower physical attack. I don't know. It's just so good.
I think
like this team.
Arcanine fits really well in this. Just I wish you would have had something more like some type of fast threat in tier 1, faster than Hydreigon and Garchomp, but just for one of the two.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's nothing above 102 speed, and everything else other than Garchomp, everything else is under 100. So I know he's got the webs, but it's an Orbeetle web, so it's not. I mean, it's pretty reliable, I'd say, but
I could see
his block would be Trevenant, and I don't like Trevenant particularly, but
I think one thing that's probably the scariest aspect of this team is the Trick Room teleport Porygon into Mega Mawile. Giving Mawile a free switch in with 3 turns of Trick Room, I think, is going to be very threatening, and that could just do enough in 2 to 3 turns of Trick Room to just win the game.
yeah, the Eevee. I have used an Eevee like core before in a different league, and I honestly didn't have problems with knockoff. I think people overdo the thing that's like, oh, you can just knock off Porygon 2, Golbat, and Clefairy and be fine, but that's not, it doesn't always work out like that, and even if they are knocked off, they still have the decent bulk, because they're still invested, so I don't see a problem with the Eevee like core.
And Porygon and Golbat, they still hit decently hard in their own right, too, so it's like, deciding
Like,
to knock off,
Golbat is just so good.
it's a trade-off, like, you know, do you want to get rid of their item now for the late game, or and risk taking a big hit now to like Super Fang or something, or letting them get up a Trick Room for free?
Could also just go into U-turn, as well as being a solid defogger.
Yeah, the one thing I'm not like in love with about this team is that when you have webs, I think you should have a rapid spin instead of like all defogs, because you might want to get rid of their hazards but keep your own.
That's fair. I would agree with that. We've got Fatty Jones upgrading from Articuno to Moltres, and he has Jirachi, Togekiss, Bisharp, Araquanid, Palossand, Lickitung, Mega Venusaur, Como-o, Darmanitan, Jolteon, and Vanillux. And this team it looks annoying.
Yeah, the flinches are pretty annoying.
Yeah, double Serene flinch.
As well.
Yep. That's going to be very annoying for things like, I mean, running Sheer Force Darmanitan, which... Sorry, I gave that pick to him. I made that one for him. He just said, give me something scary under was. Like, alright.
Oh, yeah. Wait, does
he?
he? Oh, he does have webs. I keep forgetting what bug types get sticky web, but yeah, Araquanid does get webs. So.
Yeah, and he's probably one of the better web setters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think...
So damn bulky.
Yeah.
On the special side. The one thing I will say is that his only defogger is Togekiss, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, and it defog like you just said last time. I mean, if you don't have a rapid spinner and webs, that's kind of a problem for me. And if you're not running defog on Togekiss, you gotta run boots on like Vanillux, Darmanitan, Togekiss, and Araquanid, or you're taking 25% every time you come in. So I see that as a pretty big issue for me.
I still think that, like, I mean, yeah, I get that you're worried about your own hazards, but I think that forcing your own hazards up and making them defog it, or your own sticky webs, stealth rocks, whatever, making them defog it when you have Bisharp is very insane, because Bisharp gets a Defiant boost and it can easily just sweep the whole team. It can even just get the Defiant boost and then Rock Polish, or Swords Dance and Sucker Punch everything to death. It's and Como has its myriad of setup options. I am scared of this team.
Same.
I think Vanillux is one of the best tier 4s. I think, if not the best tier 4.
Oh yeah, I'd say so too. Vanillux is insane. I don't think there's a better value pick, honestly. Maybe a few in there that I haven't thought of, but yeah, Vanillux was definitely on my radar when I was drafting.
We had a staff vote to move it up to tier 3 and it barely failed. So
wow.
Actually, no, the vote was to move it from tier 3 to tier 4, and it barely passed.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah, and then to go along with that, we as a staff moved Bisharp from tier 2 to tier 3, and I think that one barely passed as well.
Yeah, so this team got a lot of value. I'm terrified of this team.
Definitely, and I think Palossand getting Scorching Sands now too. That'll be fun. Lickitung, I really like Lickitung as a tier 5 when you're waiting on a bulkier Wish Passer. I guess it's not thick in the HP department, but it's very hard to break through with an Eviolite.
Yeah, I like Lickitung here too.
Yeah, I wish he would have had maybe. He's kind of loaded up on the steel types and fire weaknesses. Venusaur does have thick fat when it Mega Evolves, but you've got things like Jirachi, Bisharp, Vanillux, and Venusaur all being weak to fire. Most likely going to rely on Vanillux or Bisharp or, to a large extent Venusaur in the matches that he brings them, or Jirachi.
Mega Venusaur is not weak to fire, by the way, because it has thick fat.
Duh, I even said that before that.
The
But
amount
Jirachi,
of reliable recovery on this team is scary.
yeah.
Paired with all of the immunities on his Pokemon, he should be able to get a bunch of free switches.
For sure.
Bisharp is immune to a bunch of things. Togekiss, Jirachi. Komodo has soundproof and bulletproof, and overcoat for sleep shenanigans. Yeah, this team's good.
It is.
I'm not looking forward to playing this team.
Yeah, me neither. That's why I ranked it too. I think it's definitely one of the scariest teams to face.
I should have
Overwhelming.
I really should have ranked this team higher. I think it belongs higher up on the list. So I'm apologizing now, Fatty Jones. Sorry about that. We will
He'll
move
get
on to
over
number
it.
5. Yeah. He'll probably beat me. It'll be just fine. All right, coming in number 5. We've got Almighty Arceus and the Los Angeles Lycanrocs, another graduate from the Season 1 Articuno division. Coming into Moltres, he's bringing Tapu Bulu, Rotom Heat, Umbreon, Mantine, Cursula, Marowak, Mega Aggron, Kartana, Cresselia, Ariados, and Hitmonchan.
Mega Aerodactyl, not Mega Aggron.
Did I say Aggron?
You said Aggron.
This team just looks so much like mine that it just kind of slipped out. I think
This is another polarizing team.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. The reason why I rank this team so high is that I think Tapu Bulu and Kartana and Rotom Heat, those three in themselves, they work so well together. Tapu Bulu and Kartana being able to fire out those super insanely strong with a physical attack, Grassy Glides with boosted priority, I think it's gonna be scary.
This coach can basically pick and choose which defensive walls it needs to support them every week.
Exactly.
What's the fourth? I see Blue, Aerodactyl, and Kartana.
Mega Air or Rotom Heat.
One underestimates X Rotom Heat.
Also-
Oh, yeah.
Also,
My
Marowak
problem-
holding a thick club too.
Yeah, that's true. I also said why Marowak. I guess Thick Club could be underrated. Earthquaker or whatever.
Yeah, this is pretty similar to his team from last year, where he had a couple really good defensive, walls, and then a bunch of offense as well to sort of, after you're done pivoting from the defense, you can just take advantage of it with your offense. The thing is, I don't like this team as much as I liked his team last season. I think his defensive walls are underwhelming with Cresselia and Umbreon and Mantine. And then I think his offensive walls, like Tapu Bulu and Kartana, are great together, but also they get shut down by fire. I mean, I don't know. I don't like having two offensive mons that you rely on that are both weak to the same thing. And I get that Rotom Heat covers that, but if you just carry a coverage move to smack Rotom Heat too, I don't know. It's difficult.
I think Umbreon and Cresselia and even Mantine, they're pretty easy to set up on. They're pretty passive. And he does have the webs, but other than Aerodactyl and Kartana, they're his only actual fast mons, really. Unless I guess you can run Scarf Rotom, but negating that, I don't know.
I think the only thing that really takes advantage of the webs here, though, is Tapu Bulu. I mean, Hitmonchan, I guess, and Rotom Heat as well.
Maybe
But
Marowak to an extent.
Kartana,
Or Cursor.
Kartana and Aerodactyl don't need webs. Your defensive things aren't really going to care about webs because they don't care whether or not something's fast or slow. So, I don't know. Feels
I don't
weird.
even know what Cursula does, so if anyone wants to enlighten me.
I think it's got a 135 base special attack stat, and it has weak armor.
It was 145. Good.
Is it
And
145?
good defense.
Yeah, it's 145. Well,
And
the
it's got a
problem,
good, it's got a good special defense too, though. Its
don't
physical
think-
defense is very, very lackluster, though.
yeah, I don't think weak armor is going to be helping it too much because it's not living any physical attacks.
No, you could give it a
It doesn't
bear.
care about going fast.
No,
And it's doubling its speed isn't going to help either because it's so slow. Okay.
Under webs, you don't know.
You know what? +3, I guess.
I do think this team would benefit from some regenerator. Maybe a little Momola for Mantine.
Oh yeah, Perish Body kind of works like Perish Song. If it dies or if it's hit by a physical move.
No, just if it's hit by a physical move. So
Okay, and it works like Perish Song. So like it could work as a almost like what Diddle does if it it comes in on something that's set up and it kind of negates you from losing to a sweep. It might be able to do the same thing.
it could definitely be like a good AV mon, just switching to any special hit and do a ton back. Gets Giga Drain, that's nice. It's got a lot of coverage moves. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, he's definitely got
to.
Yeah, and strength staff is another thing. Does Cresselia? I think Cresselia gets Trick Room, right? I think Trick Room Cresselia could be.
Yeah.
And Marowak, like those two together with the Trick Room could be really nice.
Yeah. He's definitely got a playstyle, I think, where it's bulky bulky pivot into the main physical attackers. I mean, he's done pretty well with it. I think this team plays perfectly into his playstyle. I'm looking forward to seeing him kind of like shed some light on things like Ursula and Marowak. I'm looking forward to see how he uses the Ariados, just because I know it gets webs, but just outside of that, it's slow and it's a bug poison type.
I don't know. Banned under Trick Room or something.
All right, we'll move on to number 4. Coming in next, we got Astrius himself. He is bringing his speedy boys with Tapu Koko, Blacephalon, Uxie, Flygon, Licky Licky, Liepard, Mega Lopunny, Shaman, Raichu Alola, Scizor, and Suicune. I'll let you start this one off, Astrius.
Yeah, okay, so seeing the power rankings for this team is really funny to me because I ranked my own team 10th. I guess I don't have much faith in it. I see the strange speed tiers that I have, and I got scared off of ranking it any higher. But then you guys ranked it 1st, 2nd, and 5th. So I guess I underestimated it.
Yeah, this team is a pain to prep for. There's so many offensive and defensive threats. You really have to go in depth to figure out what he's going to bring.
The one thing I saw is that, I mean, you got Uxie and Suicune, right, as like your two main things that you're switching in, but neither of them get like reliable recovery unless you're running like Rest Suicune, which I guess makes sense. And Licky Licky can pass wishes, but I don't know. I mean, I've used like it's pretty decent, but I think that's a little bit unreliable as far as wish passing to like your bulkier mons. It could work though, and I like the first 3 really: Koko, Blacephalon, and Mega Lopunny. I think, like you said, like that's just so difficult to prep for. You'll probably have to bring like 2, maybe 3 mons just for those 3. And then you also have Scizor to deal with, you have Shaman, you have, Uxie, Suicune, like just everything.
Just bring Gourgeist.
Right.
Oh,
That's true.
I think Blacephalon was a great value pick in tier 2. That was one of the things that we moved down from tier 1. And it got coverage this season with the addition of Scorching Sand, so it makes it a little more dangerous too. I just think it's the one thing that I knocked this team for. I think it's a really good team overall. I think it's just a little too fast for me. I think it's easy to kind of take advantage with maybe a Trick Room or something like that. I like your value picks though. In Blacephalon, I think I just automatically put it in a tier 2 value just because it's one of those mons that's kind of like it's not good enough for tier 1, but it's it feels a little out of place in tier 2. And we may end up moving it back up after the season. But I love Licky Licky in tier 4. I had it on my team last season, and I think I brought it to every single match.
You pick Licky Licky like 4th?
I'm not sure what round I picked it. I know 1st, 2nd, 3rd was Koko, Lopunny, Blacephalon.
Like,
then I think I don't remember what I picked after that.
I mean, either way, like if you got Licky, for some reason I think you got Licky Licky 4th, and if you did, like I'm still surprised you got all of these threats with picking that thing up that early. But...
Yeah, I'm really happy with how my team turned out. I maybe shouldn't have ranked it so low. I got cold feet, but yeah, it's very, very cool. I wanted an Unburden user also with Koko with Terrain, and I'm really happy with Liepard at tier 5. Not only can it be an Unburden user, but it can also be a prankster. It's very good.
It's got pretty good physical coverage too, and its attack stats aren't terrible at 88. I believe they're both 88.
Yeah.
And you got some good momentum in Raichu, Koko, Mega Lopunny.
Oh yeah, almost every Pokemon on this team has like either a U-turn or a Volt Switch. It's 6 Pokemon on this team get U-turn or Volt Switch.
Yeah, that's,
7 maybe. I think Liebert gets it too.
yeah, that's awesome. And I think the fact that you lost out, we banned Rising Voltage on Coco, so you're like, all right, fine, I'll go get it on Raichu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and it's
Surge Surfer Rising Voltage is nothing to be trifled with.
No, that's gonna be scary. Yeah, I like this team a lot.
Cool.
All right, moving on. Top 3, podium. Coming in at 3, we've got Sun with the Ripple Tide Blastoise. He's got Dragapult, Mandibuzz, Inteleon, Donphan, Cryogonal, Cradily, Mega Medicham, Heat Train, Roselia, Electivire, and Florges. I'd rank this team the lowest. I think the reason being because I don't necessarily like his water type or his grass type. I think they're just fine on their own. However, I think this team might have been looking for something a little more balanced from its water type, and maybe not quite, maybe just not Roselia. I don't know. I'm not sure I like Roselia on this team.
I don't get the Cradily plus Roselia. I think
Yeah.
either of them would have been fine, but having both of them kind of just confused me a little bit.
Same.
But I really like Dragapult. I remember I got like 30 kills with Mega Medicham in one season a while ago.
Yep.
With webs, because it had webs. So like, the one thing is I wish he had some kind of web setter with this team, because it is pretty fast. You got Dragapult, Inteleon, Cryogonal, but like other things like Medicham, Electivire, even a Donphan and a Heatran, like they could definitely benefit if they're offensive. They could benefit from webs. So
Yeah.
Go get Leaf.
Wish you would have gotten that instead of Roselia or Cradily. I think there's Masquerain in tier 5. I think there's one other decent tiers or sticky web setter in tier 5 that would have been Kricketune.
The reason I ranked this team so high at number 1 was because I just think I value the high tiers a lot, right? And I think it's so difficult to attack the weaknesses in their high tiers. Because their Fairy Dragon Steel is Heatran, Florges, Dragapult, plus they have a Mandibuzz to back that up, and a Donphan for physical defense, with Mega Medicham as offense there. It's just so difficult to offensively attack this team.
However, if you can manage to get past Heatran, most of his top tiers are weak to Fairy, and I think that's important.
Yeah, that's pretty true. I mean, the only other resistance I see is Roselia, which I don't think is coming many weeks, just because he's got many other things that he'll probably be bringing. So yeah, if you have like any Fairy type with coverage for Heatran, I think that's gonna be an issue for this guy. Also, I do like Cryogonal. I like that he has Donphan and Cryo. That's 2 rapid spinners. Plus
Yeah.
he's got Mandibuzz's Defog, which is also a pretty good defogger.
Technically Florges as well, but I've used Florges.
Oh
before.
yeah.
It's not the best defogger.
Yeah, because it has to run Wish.
It's just fine. That's just fine because he doesn't need it to perform that role. He's got, having those 2 rapid spinners plus Mandibuzz, the defog if he needs it. Just kind of, reiterate it again. I think this team, the only thing that it's missing from my standpoint to rank it up higher is just something with sticky webs or something else in tier instead of Roselia. I think I like Cradily just for having a water absorber for Donphan and Heatran. And the fact that it's just really thick too. But other than that, I think this team is really solid. Coming up next, we've got Geek Yogurt, coach of the Toronto Maple Leafeons. He's got Dracovish, Hippowdon, Ribombee, Chandelure, Drapion, Rodent Frost, Mega Gallade, Excadrill, Celebi, Aromatisse, and Kangaskhan.
In a nutshell, the better Sands team.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I like
This
this.
is
I just like that he doesn't have to run sand for his main offense. Like you see Hippowdon plus X, you're like, okay, I gotta prep for this. But then he got the Sticky Webber Bombi that can help Dracovish, Chandelure, Mega Gallade, Drapion, all that offense that it's you really have to predict what this guy's gonna bring, or just prep for both forms of offense, because that's a lot of power.
yeah.
We got 2 Wish Passers, 2
Yeah.
Field Guide users. a great defense as well.
Yeah, the nitpick I have with this team, I mean, okay, so I really like this Sand team. It seems like Fatty Jones's team from last season, but a bit better.
Yeah.
But the thing with it is that it's just so, it's the same sort of problem I had with the other draft with Mega Diancie. Like, it just has entirely physical offense with its high tiers, like Dracovish, Mega Gallade, Excadrill, and Hippowdon. And then you have Chandelure and Rabombi and Celebi for your special attackers. So, like, Celebi you don't want being a pure special attacker because you want it to be sort of bulky and provide a cleric role for the team. Rabombi is going to be your sticky web setter, and it's also frail as hell. And then Chandelure is like then your only main special attacker. So
I mean, Rotom Frost, but I guess you're not.
Yeah, I don't want you to rely on a tier 5 for your special attacker.
Yeah.
I think so a lot of times I see Dracovish and I'm like, it's kind of, I mean, it's one-dimensional, you know what it's going to do most of the time, but I don't think you can really say that with this team just because he's got Rabombi and Sticky Webs. I honestly, when I look at Sand teams, I think Dracozolt goes better just for diversity and unpredictability with Hippowdon. But the fact that he's got Dracovish and Excadrill, depending on the matchup, unless he's going up against Astrius' team with Looky Looky, as we've seen from last season, that Lickitung just destroys these weather teams. I think this team is very, very, very threatening. He got Mega Gallade, the MVP last season. I think he had like 30-some kills or something like that, or plus 20-something on the MVP chart. His team is very physical, aside from Chandelure, but the team that with the physical mons that he has, I don't know that usually I would knock a team for that, but I don't think you can really do that with this one just because of how strong his physical threats are with Dracovish, Gallade, and Excadrill. I mean, they're just astronomically high. If Dracovish is outspeeding the opponent with Strong Jaw, it just resisted, water resistances they're going to get 2-hit KO by Fish's Run. It's just ridiculous. And I think, having Drapion there for a T-Spike setter, I think he's got the hazards to kind of whirl things down to let Dracozolt or Mega Gallade just clean the game up with the Fish's Run or Close Combat. I don't think it's very diverse, but I think it's very good at what it's supposed to do.
That's why it's a lot higher than the other one that had majority special attackers, is because it's overwhelming with this one.
Yeah.
And the Sand makes it a lot more difficult to wall things, constant shift. This team's good. I just think it's a bit physical.
Yeah. From there, we'll go up to number 1. Humble brag.
Features are off.
At number 1, we've got myself, and I have Mew, Sylveon, Salazzle, Cloyster, Hitmonlee, Rotom Fan, Mega Aggron, Rillaboom, Goodra, Explode, and Glurk. I'm not trying to be like arrogant or anything like that. I let self-bias overcome myself when I ranked these. So just kind of get that out there. I think all these one thing I'll say is like none of these I have much experience using other than maybe Rillaboom and to a slighter extent Mew. I think this team has my team has a lot of versatility. I think it's very thick, and it's not just 1 or 2 that are can come in and beat checks. I think the ones that do fit that role as well can also play. They don't have to always be that defensive check. They can be offensive in their own right. I think
this is the best Fairy Dragon Steel core in the game. And, you just see and with Mew it's so nice. I really like him
for Mega Aggron.
That was the one thing that I wanted to try coming into this season.
Yeah, Hitmonlee I really like. Cloyster's good for to set up sweeper that you need. Explode's just really powerful. I think Golurk's a great pick for rocks, and it's got a good HP stat. Rotom Fan's another defogger. Not that you really if you're not using Mew for defogger, it's nice. Then you got 2 rapid spinners there, so Salazzle's fun because it also gives you speed. So yeah.
The one weakness I do see in this team is its speed. The only real way you're going to go first is with Grassy Glide on Rillaboom, and then Unburden on Hitmonlee, and maybe Salazzle. Or if you're gonna set up on Mew. But other than that,
I mean,
you
yeah,
have to set up first.
yeah, but I think with this team, it's okay that he's not going first, because it's like Mew is gonna be taking a hit. Like even if it doesn't go first, Rillaboom's probably gonna be taking a hit. If not, then you can switch into Mega Aggron. Sylveon gets great Wish support. I don't know. I think it's okay that he doesn't have the best speed, because it's got a lot of things supporting it. That's all.
There was a couple redeeming factors to that. The Grassy Glide obviously being one. Salazzle isn't terribly slow. I mean, she's gonna outspeed most of what I'll see from week to week, aside from like the obvious ones like Zero Aura and Dragapult. Hitmonlee having Unburden is kind of big for the speed counter, fixing on my speed. But I would agree that that's probably the major knock on this team is that, and maybe reliable hazard removal. Rotom Fan being the only like clear-cut defogger aside from Mew. I don't necessarily think that Mew is fits that role the best. I think it's probably more dangerous when you can threaten the other team.
Yeah, especially with this team, I don't think he'll be using Mew very defensively with this team, in my opinion.
No.
And then you got the Grassy Seed Hitmonlee, which is just great. Because after they removed Normal Gem, which was probably a while ago.
Yep.
I don't really remember, but yeah, you need something to give you that burden, and Grassy Seed is just that immediate, bam. Great sweeping potential.
Yeah, I think Hitmonlee is underrated. It's actually got like a 120 attack.
Yeah.
Solid defender, special defensive bulk. Yeah, I'm excited for this season.
I would like to add that I don't. I mean, take these rankings with a grain of salt, because obviously every one of us had different rankings for everyone. Just listen to like the feedback and what we have to say more than really the number next to it.
For sure. Well, I think that does it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you haven't already, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We'll be rolling out the Articuno and Zapdos PRs shortly. Again, I want to apologize on the staff's behalf for us being a little bit behind on these. You guys are being patient, though, and I appreciate that. So, yeah, leave a like, subscribe to us, and we'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Peace.